One thing for me is that I've never dreamed of being a mother. Ugh. But fast forward now to being with my husband for quite some time, us getting married, and just feeling things in a different way that I've never felt before, seeing things in a different way. Being in a partnership is 1000% different, a 1000% different mindset than me just being solo. That's a different lifestyle. Do y'all like my new light? I'm trying to figure out where to put it real quick. All right, so this is a video that I didn't think I would be making this year, I have to be quite honest, and especially if you watched my last video, like that was filmed before I found out, you know, the announcement of being pregnant. And it's kind of funny how life like has a way of doing its own thing, especially like when you give up control and you go with it and you trust God, you trust yourself, you know, whatever you believe in, and you go hard in a sense to create the life that you want. And ironically, even though this was kind of a surprise for me, it wasn't specifically planned, I wasn't against it. You know, I am with a loving partner and everything like that. This does align with the things that I talked about in one of my last videos about just becoming that it girl, that person like that I envision myself being. This isn't gonna throw me off track from that. So let's talk about it. I am officially 25 weeks pregnant. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna go through pretty quickly things that have been working for me, but let's first like just look at the bump. More. It is definitely bumping. I thought my bump was pretty big at 20 weeks and one of my short like reels, but no. I literally can't believe this. So things that have been really helpful for me so far, I'm just gonna point out some of my staples. Number one, first and foremost, bio oil. Because my stomach has been like so itchy lately and everything, like even some of the rest of my skin, but with it stretching and growing and with this kid like pressing on my belly button, I really needed something to ease the discomfort. It's not really painful for me, but it is very uncomfortable to have like someone on the inside pressing at your belly button. Like I had an innie and now it's like flat. Yeah. My innie will be an outie soon. But this is on Amazon. It was highly recommended, so I did go ahead and purchase it. And as you can see, like I'm almost through this bottle. I'll probably have to get a second one, or I can try to make this stretch. My due month is early December. I'm not gonna give a due date. Another things that I wanted to mention about this is very light. I put it on in the morning and I put it on at night. And really that's it. I don't know if it prevents stretch marks, but I'm sure it can't hurt with kind of moisturizing your skin as it is stretching and to kind of like cut down on scarring. Next would be my Smarty Pants prenatal pills. I was trying a different brand when I initially found out that I was pregnant, but I can't remember what brand it was, but I ran out of those really quickly and I kind of felt sick after taking them, so I did switch to a gummy format that I could take at night, in the morning, and it wouldn't bother me. This is my fourth bottle. I'll also have it linked to my Amazon links if you want to look at reviews of that. That is literally how I ended up choosing this. I was looking at reviews. Same thing for the bio oil. Thank you, reviews. Next, now this one is a big one that I probably have posted about recently, but my skin, like not just on my belly or the rest of my body, but my face has actually started to get really dry in this second trimester. I mean, I do feel glowier and everything, but like my forehead and whatnot, it's been like just dry. So after washing my face at night during my nighttime routine, I have had to use like my heavier, more moisturizing lotion than I would normally have to during the summer, because during the summer my skin doesn't get as dry as it does in the winter. So this was a winter staple for me that I'm bringing over into the summer because of pregnancy skin. And it's definitely this Butter Shea Butter. The brand is Butter by Dorian, and it's a facial shea butter. It's very thick. I've almost used up all of that. It's thick until you rub it in, so I will show you how a little bit of it goes on. Then it gets very creamy. And that's it. So I just use that at night and I'm pretty much good to go. I still have some dryness, but it's nowhere near the amount that it was before I started like going back into using this shea butter. Definitely been a lifesaver for my dry skin as it's going through all these like hormonal changes and everything. Next, this is one that was recommended to me when I was interviewing midwives, is going to be this big book called The Mama Natural. To be clear, I am planning to have a natural birth. I am not interested in having epidural or medicines unless like we're at the point that we have to do it. That's not my first choice. I am open and lenient to measures that have to be taken to keep me and baby safe. But initially, no, not interested in it at all. So the best way for me to do that is to prepare and to understand my body and to understand like the different processes and things that are going to happen and how to handle them the best that I can, and also stick to my original birth plan. Now, if anybody's looked at birth plans, you know that like birthing is not like a straightforward process. Like we can plan all day, but you know, I do understand deep down, you don't have to come for me in the comments that things can change. But this is what I'm doing to prepare for what I initially want. But this has been a great week by week guide that provides information on nutrition, the different options that you have, things that you should be planning and thinking about. For me, I didn't have a lot of guidance before on pregnancy. I didn't have a lot of information. I didn't know very much other than like what I personally found on the internet, YouTube University. It was probably the most extensive information that I found all in one book on natural birthing. And I love that it is kind of like sectioned off. It's easy for me to read a few pages like every single night. They have information that's helpful on the types of doctors you may want to look into, all the way down to the differences between doulas, midwives, and doctors, and how you can make an informed and educated choice on what's best for you and your baby. They also keep it like real about epidurals and other interventions that could possibly happen or things that you may want to plan for, in addition to like creating your dream team of people and staying at peace. And information on registry items, which for us, we're trying to keep it very minimalistic. I personally don't care about a lot of outfits and toys right now. That's just not my thing. So to have like a guide that kind of walks you through things without having to like research every single step has been really, really helpful. Another thing that we've done in this second trimester at being at 25 weeks is we finally decided and nailed down a doula. You guys can let me know if you want me to talk more on that in a different video, but I'm just so happy because we originally wanted to do a home birth, but realized that it was going to be better because of our insurance options to do it in the hospital because everything would be 100% covered. But I personally don't feel very comfortable in medical settings, so I've been working on figuring out ways to make myself more comfortable, make my husband more comfortable as we go through this transition together. And I also knew I needed more support. So this was a great way for me to do that. And I'm just really excited to have like things coming together at this point. And I'm also planning my maternity shoot soon, which I'm so excited about. I think they're gonna come out so cute, and we're nailing down a photographer for that. But so far, things have been pretty good in this second trimester. First trimester, I felt pretty, I'm tired. Sorry. I get out of breath easy now, and I needed a water break. And sometimes I just have to remind myself that it's okay to take a break. Like, nobody is going to reprimand me in this video if I cut out 30 seconds of taking a water break. Anyways, Second trimester has been really good. I've gotten my energy back. The only big things, as you noticed just a minute ago, is that I do get out of breath, and we have stairs in our house. So at the beginning of this video, I think I went up and down stairs like 4 or 5 times in a row because I kept forgetting things downstairs. And another interesting thing is that I can't stand for long periods of time without getting a little like lightheaded, I guess. But I think a lot of that does depend on it being like the weather. It's been really hot lately where I live. So it's been really in the 90s up to the hundreds. I think this week we just started getting a false fall, which happens in Georgia, where you think it's getting cooler and then it gets hot again. So this week we got high 80s. Next week it's gonna be back in the 90s and closer to 100 degrees. But it's hot and you get tired, and your girl has gotten round, you know? I put on weight that I didn't originally have like 2 or 3 months ago in a pretty quick amount of time, and my body is catching up and trying to like get used to all of those changes. So I'm just trying to be mindful and take it easy, not push too hard. I have had to slow down my workouts, which I haven't been too happy about, but I have accepted that portion, and now I'm okay. I'm accepting that my body is different and I can't fit in any of my jeans anymore. I actually just bought my first pair of maternity jeans, and I didn't plan to buy any, but since I am going to be pregnant, like as things cool off and as we get into the fall, I know I'm going to need some pants because right now all I'm wearing is like spandex really and summer gear, like in dresses. And they're summer dresses, so they're not going to be good for the fall. I need something just going to be a little bit warmer. For the moment, I am planning like this month and next month to remove everything from my closet that I can't fit and won't be able to fit through the end of this year, because I just think psychologically it's going to be a lot better for me to just not have to compare myself to pre-pregnancy to now. Yeah, I think that was pretty self-explanatory. If you struggle with like body issues kind of similar to me, or a dysmorphia, where I'm getting better at it, so I don't want to call it a dysmorphia. I don't want to like, you know, self-diagnose or anything, but I did have quite a number of years where I would look in the mirror and see one thing and be told a different thing from others around me. And same thing for now, like when I would look back at pictures of myself from that time period, I realized like I really wasn't as big or as like unattractive as I made myself out to be in my head. So really it's just a mindset thing, and making sure that I have comfortable clothing, I'm in a comfortable environment, and I have comfortable, positive relationships around me to make me feel my best. As far as like being 25 weeks, another thing I wanted to add is like I'm 30 years old, and it's really interesting because you're at that age where, well, for me, people think I'm younger than I actually am, I think sometimes. So they're like, oh, you're young, you know, whatever. But you also like hear stories of people like once they hit their 30s, like you're like decrepit or old. But I think it's becoming more of a norm for people to have children in their 30s. I don't even want to say later in life, because I don't feel like it's later in life. I feel like this was the right time for me. My 20s were not the time for me to have a child. They weren't. I have no regrets about that. And if I hadn't met my husband, I would not be pregnant right now, because one thing for me is that I've never dreamed of being a mother. I think motherhood is a beautiful thing for other people and things like that, but I realized I never dreamed of being a mother because I always pictured myself being like single, traveling the world, like the cool auntie. I didn't think I would meet a partner that I wanted to like marry and build a life with. And there's no pressure from him to be pregnant or anything like that, to be clear. But I've met someone that I feel supported by. I feel like I'm not doing this alone. And it's opened up my mindset to being a parent, essentially, because I didn't have that mindset beforehand. And I knew for a fact, coming from a single parent household, that it was difficult. It is extremely difficult to raise children alone. And I didn't want that, and I didn't think I was like cut out for it, honestly. And I do understand that even in the best of circumstances, I mean, my parents were married when I was born. I understand that things can change, but I just felt like, okay, well, if I'm planning, I'm probably gonna be single, that means I'm probably not gonna be married, which means I don't wanna bring a child into this world knowingly alone. So it just never really crossed my mind to be a parent in that way. I wasn't interested in it, and I didn't want to do it by myself. But fast forward now to being with my husband for quite some time, us getting married, and just feeling things in a different way that I've never felt before, seeing things in a different way. Being in a partnership is 1000% different, a 1000% different mindset than me just being solo. That's a different lifestyle. So do I regret being pregnant now? No. Was it what I always dreamed for? Also no. I think two things can be true. I'm very excited for, our new addition that we'll have by the end of 2024. All things going well. It's just not what I pictured for myself, which is just so funny. And even with me posting like some of my pregnancy announcements, like telling my sister, like I think she was the most surprised. I have it posted like up on my page as like a reel or a short, but she's literally like doubled over, and instead of like clutching her pearls, she's like clutching her knees, because I was literally one of those people that you would have never thought would have children. I was like, it's not for me. I'm good. Kids are for other people. I really enjoy my time, my energy, my space. Like, I used to say I like, it's not that I dislike children, but I like the ones that I could give back and I didn't have to keep for long periods of time or anything like that. And then I got to wake up and my mornings were mine, my evenings were mine, and I had peace and quiet when I wanted it. And I have enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that time with just me, and also like with my husband, and I would have continued to enjoy that. I don't think that my life would have been pointless or unpurposeful without having a child. I think this is just an addition. It's gonna be Anisha is now a mommy, just like Anisha is a sister, Anisha is a daughter, Anisha is a content creator. That's how I think of it. My goal is not to ever just be one thing. So I think that was another reason why I didn't dream of becoming a mother. My small hometown that I came from, a lot of people would have children very early, and that was all they would become as mom. I didn't know many examples of people who had a life outside of that. But now that I've like grown and matured and moved and really like been around more diverse versions of what motherhood looks like, it's been eye-opening and encouraging and inspiring. And I'm happy that I get to go on the journey as well. It's another new exciting journey, and that's exactly how I think about it. But yeah, so for now, I'm happy with the way things are. I'm tired and out of breath sometimes, but that's okay considering, all the other options that could be happening. You have to look at the bright side and the silver lining of everything. And right now I'm just at peace with where my life is at, and I can't wait to see where we're going. Now I am scared about childbirth, but we will talk more about that in my next video. Hopefully by then I will have had my first intro consultation with the doula that we've decided to go with, and my birth plan will be more in place, and I'll talk more in depth about that. But until then, thanks. Until next time, this is Anisha with Locs and the City. Bye.